Top of the morning world. Guess what day it is? Hump day. What's up? Give me a moment. So, how you guys doing today? I appreciate you guys tuning in with me, those of you that do. Appreciate the likes, the shares, especially the shares. Glasses falling. So, today on Vaughn's Car Chronicles, I want to touch on something that's going to be a bit of a heavy subject. I'll talk about racism, classism, bigotry, sexism, and its effects on the world that we live in. Told you some heavy shit. But I was writing in my journal last night, and the prompt was ask me, name 2 social causes that has hindered your progress. And immediately the first one that popped in my head was racism. And a lot of people have you believe that racism is dead and gone in the United States and in the world in general. But time and time again, we keep seeing examples of where racism is not dead, it's just taking another form. It's, transformed a little bit. It's not out in the open. They wear suits similar to this right here. It takes the form of legislation. And we got a couple of glaring examples that I want to bring up. Actually, took some notes on this one right here. This one, I ain't that freestyle. This one, I had to take notes on this because it was just so much material to draw from, so many examples to provide, that I want to make sure I don't miss the point. I want to connect the dots for you people, for you guys. So, of course I took notes. I didn't freestyle this one. Everything else is freestyle. First thing first, we gotta vote, because when we don't vote, we put people in office. And yes, I said we put people in office when we don't vote, because by not voting, that's an action as well. But when we don't vote, we put people in office that do not, their values and our values don't align. So their ideologies and things that they champion and bills that they write and push forward could leave us out or could hurt us. But it's very unlikely that it will help us. So that's one of the main reasons that I say everyone should vote. And, some people get into voting is rigged and this, that, and the other, You sound just as worse as the people that stormed the Capitol on January 6th. Because you don't have any proof. You have all these blog accusations of, if this, if that, if. No, show me the facts. Just like on January 6th. Those folks couldn't show facts, and you can't show facts. So stop saying voting is rigged if you got no proof. In the medical world, they say if it isn't documented, it didn't happen. All my nurses and medical assistants and LPNs and RNs, they know what the hell I'm talking about. If it's not documented, it did not happen. So understand, you saying voting is rigged does us a disservice, because that stops you from voting, that stops people like you from voting. And when you start voting, we get people like Ron DeSantis get put into office. Now, those in Florida know Ron DeSantis, but those outside of Florida may not know. And some of you guys are like, Ron is, how you gonna say he's racist? Think about this. Think about this for one quick second. And this is also an example to show you guys how racism is still alive and well in this world. Under George Bush, we had regular racism and everything, but under Barack Obama, we had an increase in the number of hate crimes and its situations where black people were coming under attack. So much so that a movement called Black Lives Matter got started. to remind the world that black lives do matter, and we're out here, we're being, assaulted under this black president. Now, that's something to think about. We've had KKK, neo-Nazis, and all that throughout time, but under a black president, racial violence against black people increased to the point where a group called Black Lives Matter was created. I wish I was making that shit up. But ladies and gentlemen, that was the start of Black Lives Matter. To remind the world that black lives do matter, and we're under attack here in the United States. Now, as a result of that, there's a number of protests and demonstrations and everything that was going on to remind people that, hey, black lives do matter. Politicians took offense to that stuff. The notion of defund the police came about out of that as well, which I completely feel is defund the police is the worst way to say that a reallocation of police resources and funding needs to happen. But hey, that's neither here nor there. I get it. It's a quick, easy way to make a slogan, but I think the slogan missed the fucking point. Point blank, period. It missed the fucking point. But we have this movement going on where all these protests are going on. So we have these Republican governors and legislators and senators and congresswomen that are taking offense to the movement. So what do they start to do? Here's where voting comes into play. They start to make laws, rules, regulations, policies, procedures, etc. to curtail or negatively impact the Black Lives Matter movement. Whether it's protest laws, whether it's gathering laws, hey, you can't do this, or you need a permit. All these different things were enacted as a result. Here in Florida, we got HB1, where it made it a felony to block off traffic in the event of a protest. It gave people the right to drive through a protest and kill people if need be and be protected by the law. It basically tried to take the teeth out of the protests. Never mind that these here United States of America were built on protests, and we have the right to gather and assemble and protest. And read your history, man. Read your history. But we got HB1 in Florida that they were trying to put on Black Lives Matter protests every which way they could find to apply it. But here's where the racism became very, very apparent. Since this weekend, we've been having these protests and demonstrations in regards to the Cubans, and they're tired of the government in Cuba. They want to change. So Cubans in Cuba are, raising up, and Cubans abroad are raising up. We had just last motherfucking night, on the Palmetto Expressway, these Cuban protesters shut down the Palmetto Expressway with a protest. Did the police try to arrest any of them? Nope. Did the police spray them with any water cannons, mace, anything? Nope. Oh, shit. Oh, man. See, they don't want me to be great. Hold on one moment. See, they don't want me to be great and talk about this gangster shit. But hold on, yeah. See, we out here trying to be great. Motherfuckers be hating. Fuck, now I'll fix the blocking later. But as I said before, the police didn't do anything to stop the protesters, the Cuban protesters that just was going on all throughout the Palmetto. They literally blocked off the Palmetto Expressway. Now, we got HB1 in Florida that they could have used to move them people out of the way. But what did the police do? They stood there peacefully and watched the protests. The mayor of Miami actually joined them in protests. But let that have been a Black Lives Matter protest, HB1 would have been in full effect. Trust and believe you me. They wait for situations like this to say, hey, these people are different. This is a good example of protest. Well, protest is protest, man. I don't care what you say. So, we had the January 6th insurrection, where we had a lot of people protesting on the Capitol because they said that Trump actually won. Now think about this. Trump lost the popular vote in all his elections. White supremacy, white privilege has left a stain in some people's head to the point where they don't think they can lose. And that's an extension of racism and white supremacy, because white people in this America have been afforded a luxury of not having to deal with the bullshit that their ancestors have put in place. How do we know that? Anytime you talk about the term critical race theory, or talk about the history of the United States of America, they're quick to try and point out, oh, I didn't do that, I didn't do that, I didn't do that, I didn't do that. Yeah, you may not have owned slaves or whooped a slave or did anything like that, but you reap the benefits of it. And in today's world, when you see your friends make off-color jokes or, you know, slightly racist marks or sexist things, you do nothing to correct it. You actually even laugh sometimes. So you guys need to address this shit, because the more we don't address it, the more it festers, and then people try and, you know, paint a distorted sense of history and the facts. A lot of people get mad at the notion of critical race theory just because it provides an uncomfortable reality that people don't really like to look at, and that's the history of the United States of America. This United States of America was built on the backs of slavery. I'm not reaching, that's in the history books. Now, they want to change history books. Well, actually, they are trying to change history books. Some of them are trying to call slavery a choice, and indentured slavery servitude. Kanye West, oh, slavery was a choice. Like, motherfucker, what? Like, it's statements like that are problematic, because there are young people in the world that have never read, you know, roots. They don't even know the root, what roots is. There are young people in the world that don't know their history, and when people with a platform say bullshit or distorted truths, you know, that becomes the truth to them. It's not distorted to the youth, it's true to them. So they push that narrative. And to circle back to the point, guys, racism and bigotry and sexism and all that still is alive and well in the United States of America. Now, how do we change that? Now, I've talked about it, I highlighted it a little bit, but how do we change that? How do we affect that? First thing first, vote. Vote, 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 vote. It may sound cliche, but the reality is, when you vote, and let me start like this. Start at your local level. I'm not just talking about, you know, voting in the presidential elections. Vote in your city and your local elections. Because I personally believe all politics is local, and everything starts local. When you start with your local politicians, you're surrounding your community. That's the city commission, the county commissioners, your local government. Those individuals have a bigger and a faster impact on your day-to-day life than the President of the United States. So it would make sense for you to make sure that those individuals on your city and your county level have, you know, similar, if not, you know, saying, I don't want to say the same, but a similar mindset or ideology or viewpoint on the world and how things in your community should be run. If they have a, if you guys have a similar viewpoint, then it's safe to say that you're going to be in good shape. Your community is going to be in good shape. But if your community is represented by someone who, you know, does not even think about the stuff that your community deals with on a day-to-day basis, then your community is fucked. So that's why I say start at the local level. So that way you make sure that your community is taken care of. Once your community is taken care of, look at your, you know, your state politics. In Florida, we've, you know, our state politics gets real testy in the state of Florida, because, you know, we're one of those states that's kind of halfway country, halfway city. If you go south of Orlando, you know, it's actually, Orlando is kind of like a little hub of its own, little city hub of its own, because it's really surrounded by a bunch of countryside. Once you start to hit Palm Beach, Dade, and Broward County, you know, we're a whole different part of the state down here. We like city. You know, South Florida, Orlando, you know, Tampa area, those are the city more developed, more faster paced parts of the state. Everywhere else in the state of Florida is almost country as shit. So we generally have these clashes between old and new in our politics. So it's something that I've been watching since I was a kid. You know, our state, it's blue right now, but when you look at the electoral map, you'll notice that only the main city and highly developed parts of the state are voting in a democratic manner. Everywhere else, the country or parts of the state are voting in a Republican manner. That old school mindset, you know, the good old boys, that type of stuff. And that's what we deal with in the state of Florida. So we're kind of used to it. The rest of the world, the rest of the country may not be used to it. But I encourage you guys, if you're not involved in your voting process, please get involved with your voting process, because that is one of the fastest ways to affect racism in these United States of America. Because why do I say that? Right now, we have a bunch of states across the nation that are trying to change the way that, you know, the access that you have to voting. Why is that? Because they understand that voting is the fastest way to affect racism. And if they change the laws and insulate the system, you can't get in to change their system of racism. You can't get in to change their system of good old boys. You can't get in to change their system of you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. You can't get in to change their system of, well, I'm going to ignore that January 6th insurrection because Trump said it was good, and Trump has all the power in the Republican Party, and I want to get reelected, so I'm just going to shut up and not say anything. That's why this type of stuff happens, because people don't vote, people don't pay attention to how powerful the act of voting is. People literally fucking died to give you the right to vote. How dare you say, oh, voting is rigged? Your grandma punching your shit if she heard you say that. Yes, you, I'm talking to you. Your grandma will punch you in your shit because she knows that she had to walk umpteen miles in protest for you to get the right to vote, because she knows personally people that were killed on those fucking marches, on those protests, for you get the right to vote. But voting is rigged. Oh, they don't care about it. No, you don't care. That's the fucking problem. That is the fucking problem right there. Because you push baseless allegations, baseless lies that voting is rigged. Show me. Fucking show me. Don't tell me, don't try and tell me to think about nothing. Show me the proof. I do enough thinking. For 10 years of my life, I was a fucking analyst for the state of Florida, and I was literally paid to think. I can think fine. Show me the proof. Show me the freaking proof, man, that voting is rigged. Because what I see is that voting works. Because the Republican Party gets it. And they get their people out there to vote for the things that they want them to vote for. And then they get the people in office to push the bullshit that they want pushed. I don't understand why the rest of us can't understand that or see that. It happens religiously, time and time again. And that's the game plan. I don't see why people cannot identify that game plan. Like, it's so simple. But you know, black and brown people will say, oh, voting is rigged, while ignoring what these other folks have been doing. They put people in place that think like them. And then the stuff that they want and like get pushed to the front. It seems so fucking simple to me. I don't understand it. But like I said, that's the fastest and quickest way to affect racism in the United States of America. Because never forget, we had Barack Obama get elected as president. There was an onslaught on voting rights, but you know, thanks to Barack and a couple of situations, it wasn't able to get pushed through. Because had they had their way, after Barack got elected, they tried to damn near change their whole voting system. And once Trump lost that election and said he really won, what happened? America lost its shit. We had a fucking raid on the Capitol on January 6th. We have a number of states that are that are pushing through racist voting language, restrictive bills that are going to make it harder for you to vote across the United States of America. Why is that? Because they've seen what happened and they understand that voting is the fastest and quickest way to affect racism. And they do not want you to get involved with that system, because that racist system is what this is their foundation. You take their foundation, they have nothing to stand on. So understand, please get out there and vote, guys, because that's the quickest way to affect racism. We had a bunch of states that are trying to change the voting laws because they say it was stolen from Trump. Once again, white privilege at play. You've been winning so long that when you lose, you really feel like you really won, and there's got to be a reason that you didn't win, or number of recounts going on there. I forget the state. I think it was Arizona. They finished the recount and they started another recount. I say, Jesus Christ. How many times are you gonna count this loss? Like, come on, man. Just be serious with ourselves for a moment. Now, I won't say that corruption and greed don't affect the elections, but not to the point where if we all are getting out there and voting and putting these politicians in place, we got nothing to worry about, really, man. What else I wanted to touch on? And the last thing I'm gonna leave off on the highlight and kind of establish why I say racism is alive and well in the United States, and you know, we need to take a real smart approach to this voting stuff, because voting is the way we put people in place to get our needs addressed. Every black man in America is afraid of being called an angry black man or having an angry black man come out. But no white man in America is afraid of displaying that angry white man shit. A white dude will lose his shit, scream, fuss, trying to assault you, attack you, any fucking where, anytime. They're not afraid to do it. Come here, bro! All type of shit. But black men, they're telling us to be docile, be calm, be sane. I'm 6'4", 272 pounds. If I get angry and start to raise my voice, everybody in the room gets scared. I become an instant threat. But a white guy raises his voice, get angry, everybody going, what's wrong? Why is he, what's wrong? What's wrong? But to me, it's fear. It's anger. Why is he being like that? No one's gonna care about my concern. Nobody even care why I got angry. They just gonna be focused on the angry black man. Think about that, guys. The angry white man is accepted. The angry black man is feared. The trickle-down effect of racism, guys. I hate to, be that guy, but yes, racism is alive and well in these United States and the world, to matter of fact, the world, because let's not forget or overlook Meghan Markle saying that the folks in England are, quiet racist for a long time. The woman gave up being a princess to get away from racism. Think about that. Prince Harry, or William, whichever one it was that married her, gave up being a prince to protect his wife from racism. But all y'all said they was tripping, and it's not true. Oh, it's not true, 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 it's not true. Well, look what happened a couple days ago, or like last week, when the English soccer team lost. They did not even hesitate to put their racism on display, talking shit about them black players. Go back to him. Oh, you this, you monkey that. Oh, this, that, you black this, you black that. Oh, but Meghan Markle was tripping. Really? Meghan wasn't tripping. Meghan was telling y'all what it was. Harry was telling y'all what it was. And I respect them. I believe if it isn't Prince Harry that married Meghan Markle, I do apologize. But I do respect him because, he recognized that his wife was going through something. And even though he himself, as a white man, could not, fully relate to it, he did his best to make sure that he tried to address it. And that's what I need from a lot more white people in the United States of America. Even though you may not be able to relate to it and feel the bullshit that we're going through, do your best to address it from your angle. That's what Harry did. He did his best to address it from his angle and what he could do. Is he gonna stop racism in Europe and England? Probably not. But little bit by little bit, things change. Big things start as small things, guys. Always remember that. Big things start as small things. Nothing in this world started out as a huge thing. So that's how we're going to affect racism, guys. Just by starting, the little small things. Voting. We must start voting, especially at the local level, guys. That's all I want to really touch on today. Racism is alive and well in the United States of America. Don't sleep. Don't sleep. And be on guard. Be on guard, because this world we live in is a crazy world, guys. So please be on guard, be aware, and be vigilant and be mindful, because they out there. And if they catch you slipping, they're gonna try you. Peace. Love you guys. Have a good day.